My name is Natalie Zaks. This is Bambi, my co-host. And you are watching Northeastern News Live in 1828. Tonight we have a special segment about an increasing epidemic in larger cities. People have called this problem the March of the Millions. Now, in this special report with our news correspondent in the field, we will share with you an increasing problem many Americans face today. Hi, I'm just standing here in this very dirty spot in the city streets behind me, and I would just like to explain why. The March of the Millions is the term used for the filth and overpopulation of the cities. Currently, animals are roaming the streets, a surplus of people are crowded in small urban cities, and diseases are spreading from person to person constantly. Take New York City as an example. Many areas and states in the north are experiencing this problem, but New York has the worst effect. In 1800, it was relatively a small city of about 30,000. Then, due to immigration, began to double in size in every 10 years. Almost 4 million people live there right now. Our infrastructure in the north is mainly dependent on horses. Hundreds of thousands of horses are living in the city right now. And as all of you know, horses are not very clean animals. Considering hundreds of thousands of horses roam the streets of New York every single day, you can imagine the horrendous mess that the streets of New York have, and they don't exactly have a system of maintenance. The main trolley is driven by work horses, and although they're not very efficient, they are the cheapest source of manual transportation. Unfortunately, the horses are not treated humanely, and they only have a lifespan of about 2 years, so they are literally worked to death. Already unclean city life due to horses. Work horses were poorly kept in big garages called horse districts. Many factories, including ones for making foods and granaries, were near the garage. The poor living conditions of horses would attract rats and other creatures who would in turn terrorize factories and the food everybody would eat. At the risk of sounding macabre, I must mention what happened when a horse died. Since horses were so full of diseases due to their poor living conditions and all the rodents that were constantly surrounded by them, some horses literally dropped dead on the street. Their bodies weighed on average about half a ton and would be too big to be hauled away even in the middle of the street as shown behind me. People wait until the horses rotted enough and break the body apart so they could dispose of it in pieces. There's a reason why we're talking about horses so much, because children played on and around horse carcasses. I bet that can't be very healthy for them. Before we speak more in depth about diseases in city life, we have to mention that there are certain districts solely for depositing horse manure. And to add more insult to that event, it's always near water sources that people are drinking from. And not aware of the germ theory of disease, people here do not understand that diseases are being spread through microorganisms. They think it's being spread through miasma, or what they call bad air. Which is, nobody in American cities even fathoms the possible dangers of children playing around carcasses and drinking water with horse manure that probably had diseases in them. In fact, not only horses roaming the streets, many other livestock, such as horses, sheep, and cattle, were roaming the streets. Such as insects. These animals would travel around the city in herds. Now, and in addition to the lack of street cleaning, as you can see behind me, a very dirty neighborhood, the cities had no sewage systems and no flushing toilets. Garbage is thrown out of the window and onto the streets, and possibly even onto oncoming pedestrians. Many diseases, such as cholera, frequently spread through packed communities. Animals weren't only the culprits. Masses of immigrants invaded the North, making the United States the 4th most populated country in the entire world. This new influx of people also carried a new type of diseases that nobody was immune to in America, resulting in very high mortality rates. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed our special segment about the March of the Millions, plaguing the Northeast, especially New York. And we hope to bring light to you upon this devastating event of disease, overpopulation, and lack of sanitation. I'm Natalie Zaks, and you are watching Northeastern News Live in 1828.